This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. The French Revolution was a time of extreme political and social unrest in Europe and France. France went through an ambitious transformation as privileges of church aristocracy and feudal faded under an unrelenting assault from the other political groups, those in the streets and peasants. The further sight abruptly overthrew the preceding ideas of hierarchy and training and brought balance, rights, and citizenship. A governing role played by external threats in the progress of the revolution. It started in 1789 when it looked at the Third Estate members declaring human and citizenship rights. Tension dominated the field in the next few years with the idea of wanting significant reforms. Before 1789, this country had encountered a time of economic growth since it had expanded its foreign trade and increased its production of industry. As a result, the causes of the revolution in France can be found by examining French society. One of the causes of rioting in France is the ancient rule that had fallen. It became rigid. The intensifying aspiration of the tradesmen, farmers, and merchants, associated with distressed peasants, intellectuals, and wage earners prejudiced by philosophers of enlightenment, confronted the aristocrats. At the advancement of the revolution, power passed to political bodies, which represented more. Nevertheless, bloodshed and significant discord were caused by disagreements among the formerly associated groups of the Republic. Ideas of civilization had penetrated the various classes of individuals in French society, but there was a dispute on the depth of penetration. There was also a debate as to the extent to which the ideas were adopted simply because of the self-interest of the bourgeois. The most accepted idea was that revolution was a channel, which facilitated an experiment in the ideas of democracy. The bourgeoisie was a movement headed by classes, while the middle class and the proletariat had no independent classes or divisions of classes. The proletariats had not evolved their interests that were different from that of the governing class. The group fought for the achievement of the goals of the bourgeoisie, although in a manner of a non-bourgeoisie. The whole French terrorism was a means of dealing with the rivals of the bourgeoisie, that is, feudalism and absolutism. Economic situation. The economy is another case of the France Revolution. Although France went through some challenges, it was one of the most capable countries in Europe as far as the economy is concerned. France, characterized by urbanization, had potential that was crucial in terms of cultivated area, productivity, industrialization level, and the coarse domestic product. France effectively bankrupted on the eve of the revolution. There were also significant expenses while conducting the war against Britain, and France's malicious attempt to thrust a finger on the British eye by having the Americans in their independence war. After Britain won, the France government decided to make a fleet that was larger and built a coalition of allies against the British. This was to revenge and help France regain its colonies and, on the contrary, resulted in debts. Malnutrition and hunger. Malnutrition and hunger in the poor population are included in the economic factors. This was because of the inadequate harvests caused by El Niño, food prices that were increasing, and an inadequate transportation system, which prevented the shipment of foods from the rural to urban areas, hence resulting in a revolution. The Third Estate. In the Estates General, there was the clergy, nobility, and the rest of the people. After voting, ideas that would have appeared essential before, though supported the organization of the monarchy, articulated. Many people implicated that the Estates General would recommend taxes in the future, and ideals of the Enlightenment were rare. The Third Estate required that males born in French resided in the voting place and the people to pay taxes. A financial strain is the most significant source of revolution, since the country could do nothing since it had to pay the debts first. Living conditions, the rise of food prices, and property issues are the second, since they affected the needy people. It is appropriate for ideas of awareness about how an administration or government should be controlled to be practiced, and thus becomes the third. The fourth is the American War, because France had to spend a large amount of money by building navies that could fight against the British as a way of revenge. The fifth is the bourgeoisie in France. Revolution was a medium of dealing with the rivals of the privileged class. The sixth is the system of voting, because it allowed one vote per member. The last is the 3rd Estates actions, where the French-born decided on voting place and payment of taxes. Conclusion. In conclusion, the government was not able to synchronize the parties that were in dispute at court and arrive at the policies of the economy. The fiscal strain of paying old debts and the extremes of the present noble court brought dissatisfaction with the realm, added to the unrest of the nation, and ended in the Revolution of France of 1789. The Enlightenment ideas contributed to the rise of the French Revolution, since they penetrated all the classes in French society. The Revolution was due to a series of events, which together forever changed how political power was organized, the exercising of freedoms of individuals, and the natural history of society. If you want to find more works like this essay on history of the French Revolution, head over to ivypanda.com. It has a collection of free samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects. No registration required to access it.